I forgot something, which means that we have no audio for the most of this. That's okay. Okay, you should, thank you. You should be able to hear us now. Sorry about that. Didn't have something set up correctly. Okay, so, since, nobody has been able to hear us this whole time, they are at a remote cabin in the woods. It is very, very cold, and the bridge has iced over and might potentially be damaged. They're worried about it, um, and they're out here for a therapy retreat. But the therapist, I believe we said Dr. Summers, correct? Hasn't quite or never made it because of the bridge, and so there's four of them. There's Steve and Susan, who are our NPCs, and then there's Solomon and Emily that are there, and they have no Wi-Fi, no TV, and they're just kind of in this big house. They're meant to do again a therapy retreat, and that's all been kind of put on hold by the cold. A bird, a little snow bunting, which was okay, but it did crash through the living room window, leaving a hole that they were attempting to patch up. And they did manage to do that, and it's imperfect, but it keeps most as much of the cold at bay as plastic can.
See, that's how you do it.
I defer to your skill.
Well, if we're stuck here, I brought a few books. Anybody want to read any of them, you're welcome to it, but I guess that's what I'm doing with my day.
I want to do those writing exercises that Dr. Summer was talking about.
I'll just give him a nod and I go with my book because I want to avoid those writing exercises. I'm gonna go grab a book out of my backpack up in my gaudy circus room that nobody heard me describe.
What are you reading?
Oh, what is it? Let's see. Fake book. It is. It's a fantasy book.
Nice.
Um, yeah, probably high fantasy. Something that's relatively new.
Okay. What other books are they all high fantasy books, or is there varying?
Varying levels of fantasy.
So Emily is a librarian. So I think she probably brought a few books for herself, and then, as per usual, brought maybe one or two books that other people might be interested in. So there's probably a history book in there, a biography. There's some relatively recent nonfiction book. Yeah, stuff like that. An assortment. But I guess I'll grab all the books and I'll bring them down and I'll set them in a stack on the table.
Do you read down? Do you read downstairs, or do you go back up to the room and read?
I don't think I want to be alone. I'm used to being in the city with the noises and all that, and it's very, very quiet here. So I think being down around people, though, there will be at least something to distract my brain on top of the reading. So yeah, so I'll read downstairs.
Okay. Where does Solomon go to do these writing exercises?
He would actually go up to the room, because he doesn't want to start crying in front of anybody. And the last couple of times he's tried to like start the writing exercise, he just starts crying, like in a not very manly way. So he's sort of going upstairs and psyching himself up to re-dive into his grief and trauma without bothering anyone. He's like, oh, I'm a strong man. I'm a big man. I can handle this. Picks a pen. No, I can't. You can hear his boots stomping as he like walks around the room.
After a while, as you pace, you notice that your room has gotten colder since you've been upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stop walking and listen really, really closely, you can hear the wind coming from another room. Like you can hear it coming through a window.
Well, that's a fantastic excuse not to introspect. Let's go examine that. More duct tape, you say? Don't mind if I do.
The room where it's coming from, it's set up like it's a bedroom, but it's also set up with a desk, and like photos of like Dr. Summers and some colleagues and some former patients on the wall. So it's like set up as like a small office area as well. There's in this room, there's two smaller windows. One of them is open about like 3 or 4 inches. You didn't notice it when you came up. It was perfectly warm when you came up here. Emily didn't notice when she came up and got her books either. So you don't know when it was opened, but it doesn't see. You don't think it was open when you came up the stairs.
So Solomon walks up the hall with like one ear, sort of listening for that noise, and he opens the door into the room and sees the window, and there's just like cut to his face, cut to the window, cut to his face, cut to the window, cut to his face, cut to the window, and he like leans back and looks at the little panel that says what the room is, and just without changing his expression closes the door, comes back downstairs, and asks the group, who's in the executive suite?
Both Susan and Steve are like, that's not. Steve's like, that's not me. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I think it's Gothic or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Susan says that her room is I don't know. But you know what? Bird themed. Her like her wallpaper is covered in birds, and there's like a few like stuffed animal birds and stuff like hanging on the walls
cute.
and stuff.
It's not me. I'm in the gaudy circus room.
Why?
Well, window is ajar in that room.
Okay.
What did
you
somebody
shut it?
somebody leave it open or something? Like before from another retreat? Did nobody notice it was open?
I mean, I didn't notice, but I don't really think I was paying attention.
I noticed that the temperature in my room dropped precipitously over the past half hour.
Is
He's
there,
doing this with his hands, just like kneading them.
is there somebody else here? I'll check. I'll put my book down and get up and go to the front door and open it and just kind of look out and see. Since there's a tarp over the window now, look out and see if there are any new cars out there.
Nope. No new cars. It's all the same cars that were.
That's odd.
And when you walk back into the living room, you kick something on the floor, like as you're coming through and walking through. And you hear it skitter across the wood floors.
Can I see what it was?
There's a rock, like a little round rock, painted white.
I'll bend down and pick it up and take a closer look at it. Are there any markings on it or anything, or is it just painted white?
It's just painted white.
Is this one of yours, an art project?
No.
Not mine. Susan shakes her head.
Would someone come with me to the side of the house?
What do you mean, come with you to the side of the house?
The room, the executive suite's on the second floor, right?
Yeah.
If someone came in, they would leave behind evidence.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I can go out there with you. What are we looking for? Footprints in the snow or something?
Maybe a ladder.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we should go check that out.
Who's coming with me?
Steve is,
Ignore
for
that.
sure.
That didn't happen. He was out of frame. We saw anything.
Steve is for sure. I don't know if anybody else is.
It's really cold out there. I'm gonna stay inside for now with Susan. Unless Susan goes with, and I'm not staying inside by myself because it is starting to get a little creepy, especially if somebody came into the house that we don't know about. So I will look to Susan and see what she's doing.
Susan's like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody just forgot they opened the window or something for some reason. I don't know. And she kind of just gets up and she like starts rifling through the movies that are there.
I think the two of us will stay here. You guys check that out. Let us know what you find.
Okay. And like Solomon is clearly suffering. He's manifesting all the tics that he has in group. So he's like kneading his hands and sort of bouncing on his heels a little bit. Like the competency is a front. He is anxiety 12 at this point.
When you go outside, you like there's you don't see a ladder like on the side of the house, but you do see footprints in the snow that they like kind of weave all around the house. But you were out here this morning. You're pretty sure you didn't see any footprints in the snow when you were out here smoking this morning.
You don't say. Is that the case?
If you want to investigate further, that'll be a roll.
I sure do. Does Steve want to help?
Steve can help. Do you want to use a scar or anything else to get more dice?
Remind me what a scar is.
A scar is... Hold on. I will find the definition. But a scar is... I forgot the number already. 22. Okay. So each main character carries scars. They're painful memories from your past, and you can help them use them to overcome the horror. Generally, players will only describe what their characters say and do as they react to the world around them. Scars are the exception. They give players the power to narrate the character's background. They build a rich collaborative story and give the main characters a better shot at making it alive. But they're a scene you detail from your past. Revealing them, when you reveal them, the players must tell a melancholy story from the character's past, reveal a scar, and introduce an element or side character that helps you in the situation. And then the player will raise their character's anxiety by 2.
Yeah, we might as well flex the mechanics, yeah. So I have to actually name something. It sort of does a dissolve cut to a younger Solomon, as in like 12 to 13. He is in a house, a suburban house, at night, with another young boy, who looks to be maybe 2 or 3 years younger than him. And the house is dark as well, save for the light from the TV sort of illuminating the two of them on the couch. And while the two are watching the movie, there's a slight creaking noise from the ceiling upstairs as someone unexpected enters the house from the second floor patio. And their parents are gone for the night. They're not supposed to be back for hours. And it's just Solomon and Carl, two young kids left alone during a home invasion. And they got out, but they got out by Solomon going to the base of the stairs and looking up and seeing the silhouette of the intruder in shadow at the top of the stairwell move, and the two of them leg it out the door and call the cops and then their parents. But he ever since then he's always felt that sort of like nagging insecurity, which is why he carries around that's why he read about common I don't want to say tropes, common burglary techniques. So like he knows a little bit about lockpicking, he knows a little bit about avoiding cameras and lights. He didn't ever commit crimes himself, but he did read a lot about it afterwards because he felt so helpless at the time that he was like, how did we get so blindsided by this? I need to know what that guy was thinking when he broke in so it doesn't happen another time.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Roll
Okay.
3 days.
3?
What that is so
Yeah,
many.
Steve will help you.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Steve.
He's there.
Seems like
He
I don't
can.
have any
He's
trauma
there
related
to
this.
help. So
Yeah, but I am willing to help you out. I got a 6, a 4, and a 1, so that is a whopper of a success.
it is. You walk around the house, right? And the footprints are circling the house, a couple times at quite a distance. They're not wearing snowshoes or anything. So like you get a good look at like the boot print and like how deep the snow is in each area. And as you go around a couple times, when you get to the side of the house that's like facing the living room window, you notice there's a spot in what would be like what would be the side of the driveway where like some of the snow's been cleared away, dug out. If you look underneath, there is the rocks that make up the driveway, and they're all painted white underneath.
Okay. That's great, Teddy.
You're welcome.
I can barely contain my elation.
And as you notice this, you also like as you're walking around, you make eye contact with the shed that has like the snowmobiles in it. You can see the lock glittering brand new on the front of it, but you know where that shed is now, like in your head. That'll be for your a little extra for your success. Inside the house, Emily, Susan finishes looking through the movies. She huffs and then so she's gonna go lay down and walks out of the room. She's quiet as she goes, so you don't really hear her leaving. And after a couple minutes, we'll say like 2 or 3 minutes, Solomon and Steve haven't come back in. But the way I'm imagining the house is that there's like the front of the house where the characters mostly have been, and then there's like the back of the house where there's like a storage closet for like tools to repair stuff in the house, and a laundry room. And there's not really anything important back there, but there's another staircase that goes down on that side of the house as well, and there's a back door. And you can hear the creaking of boards back there, of like somebody stepping on loose boards as they put weight on them.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting them to come back anyways, so without really looking up from my book, I'll just kind of say loud enough to be heard. Did you guys find anything?
Eerie silence.
I'll sit up a bit from, I guess I'm kind of sideways on a sofa. I'll sit up a bit and look back towards that part of the house.
Quick question. What color jacket does Solomon have?
It's the sort of the same. No, it's a dark green camo jacket. Yeah.
Okay.
A big honking one of those.
And for context on this, Steve's jacket is like a dark blue North Face jacket. But when you look in the hallway, you see an orange, like, puffy jacket with a hood and like fur lined around it, and the hood is singed down a little bit to cover the face. There's scarf and goggles. They're like near the back door-ish. Actually they're near where the back staircase lets out.
I will slowly push myself up to a stand watching them. Hello? Dr. Summers?
When you say hello, they turn around and start walking towards the back door. And you can audibly hear them go now, like as their snowsuit like rubs against itself. Hear the back door start to open.
I'm just going to watch them go. Is that Emily's very confused at the moment that they wouldn't answer her like that, and she's gonna wait for somebody else to come back before doing anything.
Okay. So you saying there, the camera cuts outside. Solomon, you're looking at these rocks in the driveway, and you hear a creaking noise come from the back of the house, like the back door hinges creaking. And you look back and you see a figure in an orange jacket retreating into the woods. You don't think anybody wore an orange jacket out here. But there's somebody wearing one retreating into the woods.
He's gonna jog after them and like yell, "Hey, hey!"
Okay, I think that is a good place to go to break. And we will see what happens next. We'll be out for about 10-15 minutes or so. Make sure you get up, stretch, drink water, do all of the things, and we will be back in a little bit. Hello, everyone. We are back. And Solomon was going to run after the figure he's seen going into the woods. Solomon, roll me. We'll start it at uneasy, but make a roll. You gotta. This is both to catch up to them and not lose them in the woods.
Where did we? Oh my God! It was actually 5. That's fantastic.
That is. Now that is a 5. 5 is a partial success. So if you want to, it's a risk, but if you want to try to get a better roll, you could up the intensity and re-roll that.
No.
Okay.
He's basically gonna chase after this individual and like yell after them, like, "Yo, come back! Like, what is happening? Get back here!"
You hear Steve yelling after you as you run, and it takes you a little bit to catch them. And I think the partial success part of this is you don't realize how far into the woods you go when you actually catch them. What do you do when you catch up to them? Do you grab their jacket? Like, do you tackle them? Like, what do you do?
No, like this whole time he's just yelling after them, like, "Stop! Hey, what the? Like, what's going on? Cease your running! Do you need help? Communicate."
Yeah, like. Your yelling doesn't prompt them to stop, but like you're close enough now. We'll say like as that like they definitely can hear you, and if you wanted, you can reach out, grab them, stop them, like try to go around them, block their way.
Yeah, I'll block their way. Just sort of be like, hey, what's going on?
They.
Please do not let them just comically run past me.
No. I wouldn't do that. They
Like, hey.
They stand there, sort of that movie menacing figure pose of like wide stance, arms wider than their stance at their sides, like face slightly tilted down. They don't say anything. They don't try to run past you. They don't say anything. Oh yeah, and do you have a scarf or anything on?
No, he's got gloves on and what's the hat like this, but it's got the liner and the ear flappies.
I know what it's called most times, but I can't recall right now.
I think it's like a toque or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's just big heavy jacket, so it's just like a train plume of vapor.
So the thing is like from running when it's this cold, your lungs burn. Like not just like from it being hard to breathe from like normal exhaustion, they burn from the cold of you sucking in that cold air.
Yeah. So he's just barely out, like mostly out of breath. Why did you break into the house?
They're going to reach into the pocket of their jacket, and they pull out a big survival knife.
That's quite a compelling counter argument he's just made. Oh yeah, Solomon's like looking at the knife like, okay, this is not going the way I expected this conversation to sort of play out. But unless he approaches, that is when I will flee.
Okay, so you just like, I don't want any of that. and you're gonna flee back to the house.
Yeah, it's like if it looks like he is operating with malice aforethought, Solomon's gonna be like, okay.
Okay. Make another roll at uneasy
Mm-hmm.
to make your way back to the house.
I got a 4. There's your proof, which I suppose doesn't do a lot. Really in a dice cam.
A 4 is still
Yeah.
partial,
Mm-hmm.
but you can take the risk to try to roll higher.
I'll come back to the cabin really feeling that half a pack a day habit.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
Oh, the ghosts of the cigarettes. Oh, they're haunting me now. Oh, I'm gonna lie down in the snow.
I just want to double check something.
The range on his throw?
Did you leave Steve behind?
No, Steve is still at the cabin. Steve, I left Steve behind when I initially set out.
Yes. Dice. Nope, not there. Oh, there we go. That's what I want.
Your silence is concerning.
I'm just reading here.
But normally you read aloud. Oh no.
The silence Solomon hears, just aside from his heart beating in his
Yeah.
ears, as he's trying to run.
He's just leaning up against the wall that has. Oh God, I'm gonna barf. Somehow.
Okay.
Up chucks the eggs and they're just powder again. He's just like, oh. Really is dry out here. I'm suffering over here. Oh.
What went through Solomon's mind when he saw that knife?
You know, I'm really worried the answer is going to be that knife.
No, your despair's not high enough for that, anyways.
Yeah, just mass
okay.
amounts of dread. Like, oh, okay, so this person doesn't need help. They're operating with intent to maim.
Okay, I just wanted to see if I could push your despair at all with this, but not yet. But what does happen? You don't get back to the house. Somehow you got off track, but you find the driveway.
Okay.
So you know if you follow the driveway, you'll get back.
Yeah, it's only a quarter mile.
So while that was happening, Emily, Steve comes back into the house as Solomon just ran off into the woods.
Yeah, there was somebody in here in a big orange jacket. They just went out the back of the house. They were standing there, creepy, and they didn't say anything, and then they just walked out.
And where's Susan?
She said she was going to go lay down.
Steve doesn't bother taking his jacket or his boots off, but he pounds up the stairs.
I'm going to follow.
He goes, to, we'll say, the end of the hall, and opens a door. Inside, you can see like a disco-themed room.
We spared no expense on the chintz.
I'm really trying to like think like what would like some weird bed and breakfast have as room themes. So, and well, also the like doorknob like swings out of his hands a little bit and clatters against the door, but Susan's not in her room.
Huh. Said she was coming to lay down. Maybe she's in one of the other rooms? Or the bathroom?
Yeah, maybe. Do you want to check the one downstairs or do you want to check the one up here?
I mean, we can check this floor first, and if she's not up here, then we head downstairs.
Okay. Give me an uneasy roll to search the house for Susan.
I mean, Steve's helping me, right?
Yes.
MVP Steve.
Taking all that anxiety. It's gonna be a mess. I rolled a 6 and a 3, so 6.
Okay.
I don't know how excited I am about this success.
You know what? I am going to give you a hope point for that, to push the story along a little bit. And I think it's kind of hopeful to find all of your people. You check both bathrooms. Susan's not in either one. But as you head towards the laundry room, Susan collides with you and drops something on the floor that kind of skitters across the floor. It gave a pretty hefty thunk on the floor when it hit it.
We were looking for you. Somebody else was in the house.
Oh, I didn't see anybody. Are you sure it wasn't just Steve or Solomon?
No, they were outside. It was somebody else in a big orange jacket. Can I glance down at what fell?
She dropped a flask.
I'm not going to say anything at all about it. No, it was somebody else, and they didn't say anything to me. They just stood there, creepy, and then they just left. And Steve said that Solomon ran off into the woods.
Do we go looking for him, or should we just wait for him? Like, what do we do?
I think we wait. If we go looking for him, we're all going to get lost in the woods, right? You're just supposed to stay put, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Steve says that. Yeah, we should just stay put. Is there anything else we should do? Like, I don't know. Like, should we be locking up the windows and doors or something?
Yeah, I definitely think we should be locking the place up. Checking if there's a basement or something. Make sure there's not an entrance there that's unlocked. Yeah, the windows. Just, I guess, going through the house and making sure no one else is here. And keeping an eye out for Solomon. Hopefully
He could
he'll
be
be back
anywhere.
soon.
He's coming out of the walls, man.
You do that pretty easily. Solomon, you You get up to the door.
Yeah.
You're cold, but
Yeah.
you're fine otherwise. You let yourself in. Everybody, you've already locked all the other doors. Emily, where would you be? Like, would you have everybody huddled in one room, or are you pacing? Are you settled in reading again?
Probably, I would think we'd group up in one room, someplace where we're together and we can talk, because we're waiting for Solomon to come back. And when he comes back, he may have news about why he ran off or found something, but once he gets back, we can all figure it out. I mean, hopefully this was just a fluke. Some weirdo who's gone now.
And yeah, Solomon walks through the door.
Panting, sweaty, frozen
Cold.
to the bone. Yeah.
Hey, we were worried about you. There was somebody in the house.
I saw them leave. I thought they might need help.
Did they?
Whatever he was selling, I didn't want any of it. He pulled a knife on me.
Oh.
Do you know if anyone's cars has snow tires?
Mine has all weather tires.
That'll have to do. Let's get our stuff and get out of here.
Sounds like a good idea.
We'll just have to cross that bridge literally when we get to it.
Emily gives you side eye as she walks past you to get your stuff.
I'm trying this new thing they've invented called humor. Hopefully it works. I'll get many points in therapy.
All right, you all pack up your stuff. That's relatively easy. Do you take the food as well, or do you like pack that back up, or?
Yeah, I'll grab any of the MREs that haven't been eaten. I'll just toss them back into the bag.
Probably most of them.
Yeah, they are pretty gross. They're the highest quality, most expensive MREs that I could find, so they taste like 4-ply paper towels instead of 3-ply.
As you're finishing packing up, Steve comes back in and is I got bad news. Car's dead. It won't start.
What do you mean it's dead?
I don't know if it's the battery or something else, but it wouldn't start.
Emily, Susan, do you have your keys?
Yeah, I have my keys. We can try mine.
I'll try mine too. I mean,
Okay.
do we even need to ask how I suppose the question is, how badly are these cars messed up at this point?
So is only one of you going out to start the car, try to start cars, or are more of you?
We should go as a group.
Okay.
That would be the wisest course of action.
So whoever wants to take the lead on trying to get a car running, roll a tense roll.
I'll do it. I'll start with my car and try and do it.
Okay.
That's a 6.
Yay.
Okay.
Sky likes me tonight.
Yeah. Roars to life. Flames guttering out of the back end of the car. This 97 Miata. Like a tiger under the hood.
It's a Subaru.
Oh.
Emily's a lesbian.
all 4 V's under the hood, raring to go, right?
Okay. Um, it's not. It doesn't quite roar to life like that, but
Damn it.
it does. It sputters a little bit, and then it pops to life. What kind of car? Okay, so you said it's a super, so it's got plenty of room for everybody.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a Subaru wagon, the classic lesbian car.
Okay. Do you wait for the car to warm up, or do you pile in and just go?
I mean, as soon as it starts, I'll tell everyone it works. Everybody in. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, damn the torpedoes. Full speed ahead.
Yeah, it'll warm up for as long as it takes everyone to get in.
Yeah.
Get
The
their
panic
stuff in.
the panic sweat will also help.
Okay. So it's cold. The car feels sluggish, like it feels different because it didn't warm up, so the steering's a little stiff, pedals are a little stiff, but the car's moving. There's still some frost on the road. Every time you push on the pedal just a little too much, the traction light comes on. But you're moving down the road. Roll me a tense roll. Do you want to get extra dice on this? Do you want to... You haven't used a scar yet? Is there something you want to... like? Do you want, or do you just want to try your luck on that one dice?
Trying to think of a scar I would have for driving.
Car accident?
I think it's more. Yeah, I'll use the scar. So for a moment, Emily flashes back. She looks a lot younger. Hair's a lot shorter and a very boyish cut. Looks like she's probably 16 or 17. And her parents are in the car with her, like trying to teach her how to drive on snow, but it's more them yelling at her and yelling at each other and everybody just like yelling, and she's gripping the steering wheel with white knuckles and her anxiety is through the roof and she's on the verge of a panic attack. And that was her first time driving on ice, and I think that's what she flashes back to. And the element I'm pulling from that is kind of like, in this situation, it feels a little more calm inside the car.
Okay. But you're used to the kind of like tense ice driving kind of thing is used to, you know, like you've done this before. Okay. Roll 2 dice.
I'd like to burn an anxiety to give an additional.
Okay.
Are you gonna help?
Yeah, how do you help?
How do I help? I can't think of a way to do it without being a jerk.
Do you just grab the ice scraper and like at least like clear off a spot in front of the driver or something?
I mean that's a bit over that's a bit over dramatic, but when yeah, I guess he'll just sort of, so you don't have to take your hands off the wheel, because I imagine we're going kind of slow. he'll just like use his shirt sleeve to like wipe the condensation away from the windshield, so you don't have 2 layers of things obstructing you. You can at least kind of see a little bit.
Okay. That works.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any way to do it other than that, or being really misogynistic. And like that's absolutely not within that character archetype.
You could Mad Max it on the hood, scraping the ice off the window.
Yeah,
Head out the window.
yeah. This is helping, right? It's like, no, it's really not.
Head out the window.
I'm more stressed.
Turn left.
Okay, so I got 3. Let's see what happens. Okay, 2 4s and a 5.
Ooh.
So that's a 5, a partial success.
Okay. That's actually good. Story-wise, anyways. You get to the road. So you manage to make it down the driveway and you get to the road. But at the bottom of the road is where the stranger is standing, knife in hand, at the bottom of the road.
And she's just like pointing forward.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, that's the person that was in the house too. What do I do?
Is there enough space to go around him?
There's enough space to try.
What confidence you engender. We can certainly make an attempt.
I will make an attempt to go around.
Do you go slow? Do you try to speed up? Like, what does this look like?
I will, while still going our slow speed, like try and get into position to go around and then speed up. Like I don't want to speed up as I don't want to fishtail, basically.
Okay, so you slowly aim the car, and try it, and then you speed up. Okay, so I know what this looks like. As you speed up, like you're aimed to go around him, and you're speeding up. This does also mean that you have to, like, speed up and turn around him. But as you're starting to do that, he rushes the car. Right, like he runs at it, trying to spook you or something. You're going a little faster. It's icy. We're gonna roll desperate on this one.
Okay. You got anything, Solomon, to help?
Beyond yelling, if the wheel like starts to slide, and it's clear that it looks like you're losing it, he can just like snag it and hold it straight? Or is that okay, or is that not going to work?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if like you start to lose, having somebody grab the wheel so you don't lose control of the car might help. Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a lot you can do from the passenger seat, turns out.
Yeah. Do I get an extra die for that?
Yeah. Well, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Set my anxiety on fire. Burn my dread, please.
I'm very happy for the extra die.
Oh.
Because the original die was 2.
Oh.
The extra one was a 5.
Okay.
So thank you for catching the wheel.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got a 5. So you achieve, because this is a desperate roll on a partial success. You achieve what you set out to do, but I get 2 points of dread, and then the player also chooses. In this case, Emily, as you rolled, you either take a severe consequence, or you raise your despair track by 1.
Let's take a consequence.
Okay.
Let's make this interesting.
Let me see. Does this game tell you what a severe consequence is supposed to look like? I think I know, but some games have different ideas of what that looks like. So I want... Maybe it's here. Okay. No? Okay. And I think in this case, you know what? The severe consequence is that you get out of there, right? Like you get away from him, but he still slams into the car. And you hear the crunch of plastic as you crash, and when you straighten back out, also just because it's it's icy, it's cold and stuff, you probably have the headlights on, but you notice that only one of them is working. I will give myself... Oh wait, I'll mark down on my piece of paper here that I have 2 dread points, since I don't have it on the screen. So I have 2 dread points, and you continue driving down the road. And now, and I think what is likely going to happen here is that I am going to use one of those dread points once you get to the bridge.
You mean the bridge that is perfectly functional and stable?
Mm-hmm. This bridge is going to be here for another 2,000 years. The bridge roars to life. Flames jetting out the back end. I swear, my neighbors drive the noisiest cars.
It happens when you know the character. Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 dread to inflict a consequence on a main character. In this case, it's Emily, it's your car, and you're driving. And as you approach the bridge, you hit a patch of black ice, you spin out, and you slam the car into the side rail of the bridge.
Is everyone okay?
Solomon is sort of like one hand on the handle, both knees kind of like up to his chest. Is like, Yeah, I think I'm okay.
You
Oh,
you hear Steve making noise in the backseat. Says, I think Susan's alive, but I think she knocked herself out on the window.
if I turn around and look, can I see how she looks?
Uh, she's unconscious, but you can, like, every time she breathes, a little bit of fog appears on the, a little bit of steam mist appears on the window that she's got her head next to, but she definitely smacked her head against it when you slammed into the guardrail.
Right. Let me see if I can get us out of this. And I'm going to try and drive us off of the guardrail.
Okay. Give me a tense roll.
Why don't I? Is it guardrail on the passenger side or the driver's side? Whose door is stuck?
You know, I think it's the driver door stuck.
Okay, so why don't I get out and like take a look at the damage and see if we can drive off, and then that's how I'll help.
Okay. So, just saying, Emily, here's a prime position to also throw out a betrayal and get more dice. It's outside the car.
Betray. Run me over. I'm right in front of the car.
I was thinking I could just shove him out when that guy was running at us.
There, you deal with this. No problem.
But you at least have 2 dice.
Okay. Did we spin or did we
Yeah,
go
you
across?
You spun.
So we're facing the wrong way now.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's a 1 and a 3.
Okay, so here's the question. Do you want to roll again at desperate?
Yes.
Okay.
'Cause we're stuck out in a snowstorm, or at least freezing temperatures.
Assuming that Solomon's still helping, it's 2 dice.
Okay.
Did you bump my anxiety up?
Are you also helping here?
I mean, yeah, I was when the initial roll was done. Do I need to burn another anxiety to help on this?
Yes.
In that case, yes. Skyrocketing anxiety.
Hang in there. Okay. That's better. I saw the 2 first, but the other one's a 5, so
Oh.
Okay.
I panicked for a moment.
Do you want to up? So here's the thing. A couple things are actually. You know what? Hold on. I forgot. I should have. When you got past him, in the car, I should have upped your hope then, and you will get hope for getting the car off the railing here. But the other question, again, still it's a partial success, so I get more dread and another 2 dread. And do you want to suffer a consequence, or do you want to up your despair?
Up my despair, because this was my only car,
Okay.
and I'm sure it's not looking great now.
Yeah, when Solomon gets outside and sees the front end of the car, there's this momentary expression of just, but he quickly like masks like, no, it's probably not as bad as it looks. Oh God. I'm 75% confident that it's super fine. Ooh.
And as a consequence of your despair going up, Emily, when you look back down the road into the distance, you're certain you can see that stranger walking towards you.
Solomon, we need to go. We need to go now.
I'm just gonna hustle back into the car now that's off the thing.
He's coming back.
and just as carefully as we can.
I am going to try and turn us around and go, doing my best not to accidentally gun it in my anxiety.
Okay. This is going to be a tense roll. This is one of them not very wide country lanes, so you're not so much doing a U-turn as a multiple point turn, trying to
As a
not
15-point
slide
turn.
into the ditch and.
At some point, it might just be easier to back up until we hit the end of the bridge. I guess this bridge is getting steadily narrower and narrower in the description.
We've committed. We're already perpendicular to the bridge.
I was just thinking you said we were pretty far out in the country, and I'm just thinking of those really narrow 2-lane country roads. So, but it's a tense roll. Roll at least one dice, unless you have an idea for.
An idea for keeping. Yeah, well, we'll flashback. Why not?
Okay.
Let's do another scar.
That is another 2 anxiety. So your anxieties of the situation are increasing.
Yeah, flashing back to. Flashing back to high school. It's Emily again, looking like she did in the previous scar. Pretty boyish haircut and clothes. And she's running. She has a black eye. And some scuffs on her arm. It looks like she probably fell across the cement or something. And there's some shouting behind her. It sounds like a group of guys chasing her. Bullies who have been picking on her throughout her high school career. This isn't by any means the first time that she's run from them. And she knows how to do it. She knows how to run, how to keep her cool, how to find a place to hide and control her breathing so that she doesn't give away where she's hidden. That sort of thing.
All right, 2 dice.
You see her trying to control her breathing as she does this. That's a 5 because of the second die. It would have been a 1 otherwise.
Already got gray hairs and I don't need more of them. Oh, so dense. I think
It was another despair.
Yeah. I think if you had a dice cam, I would have visibly aged like that guy in Raiders.
So
at the side of the 1.
Okay, so tense roll 4 to 5. They achieve a lesser version of what they were attempting, suffer a consequence, and the GM takes a point of dread. The main character can either stop there, or they can push on with a desperate roll if it makes sense in the fiction. So it's up to you. If you want to try for the full success, you can push on for a desperate. Otherwise, I would get a point of dread.
I'm not going to push it because I have to take the new results.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's difficult. It's going to be difficult to get better than a 5.
Yeah, what's a good consequence here? You get turned around. I don't have a consequence here, I think. Just for driving. But you know what? We are sort of towards the end here because you do get another point of hope for getting that car turned around as you're trying to do it. You know what? The consequence is he caught up to you. He's there. Well, they are there, right? Like they're orange coat. They caught up to you. They are standing in the road. You can see them. You haven't escaped yet, but they're there. Actually, even better. Not only are they there, but they open the back door and pull Steve out of the door. Out, like they pull Steve out.
Oh no!
Steve, why didn't you lock your door?
What the hell, Steve? I guess I'm gonna go get him.
Okay. I mean, you can that is a choice you can make, but when you get out of the car, they're already stabbing Steve. You can hear his screams. You can see them making the motion. You can still try, but it is already happening. When you get out of the car.
There is a high-pitched whine in the soundtrack. As Solomon, like in a not even like fit of bravery, but just the sudden adrenaline shock of it. Like the only thing his body can think to do is stand up. That he throws open the door and looks to see in the taillights of the car the knife coming down and the blood spray. And there's not like courage or bravado in his expression. Like it's just a yawning hole of despair at the sight, and he doesn't even say, like, he doesn't even tell you to floor it. When he sits back down, he just sits in the passenger seat completely blank-faced and locks his door. In fact, all of them, if I can get away with it.
Yeah, seeing that in the mirror, I am going to gun it, and I'm going to do so with a scar going back to
Okay.
Emily's tragedy.
All right.
It's not even a full flashback. It's fuzzy jump cuts, out of focus. It's the day she found her fiance's body in their apartment. She came home to it. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with that, but she was the one who found her fiance, who died by suicide. And it's this drive in her that there's a lot of feelings there, but also this drive that she doesn't want to die now. And she's going to gun it.
Okay.
I'm glad Solomon got back in the car because I was about to leave.
Oh yeah, no, that was a good idea.
Roll 2 dice. Desperate.
Am I betraying Steve? Do I get a die for that?
Can you betray the dead? I mean, yeah, that's how you know it's good. It's good horror. Like them bite marks don't come from.
Yeah, no, no.
can't
I
fake
don't think
this.
you're betraying Steve here. I think. Well, yes. No, technically betrayal is for other players, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. So yeah, no. Just 2 dice here.
Okay. Come on. 2 6s.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Okay.
I need to go lie down. I'm going to start crying.
So here's how this is gonna work. Let me roll back up because this is a desperate roll, which means I am in the wrong page. I believe it means that I still get 1 more dread because it's a desperate roll. Yeah. You set out to do what you mean to do. You got this. But I get another point to dread. And but you're going, that also ups your hope to 5. So you're going to get away. Know that as part of this. But I'm going, because I can, I'm going to spend that 4 dread to up Emily's despair 1 more time. And you gun it, right? You hit it, and for a moment the tires don't catch right away. You spin out at first before you shoot across this bridge. And
Come on.
your window breaks. And the killer stabs you in the shoulder. His knife goes into your shoulder, and then the car rockets out, throwing Dr. Summers. Hook comes back, and you see Dr. Summers, and sprawls out on the bridge. Like you can see it in the rearview mirror. You fishtail a little bit on the bridge, but as soon as you get to the other side, your tires catch, and you're gone. You're driving away. Let me check. There's epilogues, so let me check what they are. Because they differ on who survives and...
I'm driving, gripping the wheel, bleeding and panting. I think with my adrenaline not even like paying much attention to the stab wound in my shoulder.
It's
So
definitely
probably
cold.
Look a mess.
Yeah. And Solomon is just like looking back over. Was that Dr. Summers?
Yes.
She stabbed you.
Yeah. I know. It hurts.
Couple of things.
I apologize out of character. Solomon has been the most useless protagonist I think I've played in a while.
You're fine. This has been interesting. It's been fun, but our epilogues, Act 3 epilogues, if all the main characters survived, you both have, there's a questions for both characters. How have they been traumatized by the harrowing events, and how has that changed them some weeks or months later? And then also, how has their relationships to and feelings about the other character changed? And I think it's okay to, like, in this case, it's okay to say, like, no, not a whole lot. We didn't, like, get to know each other a whole lot better as we escape the situation, but those are questions that wants me to ask you.
Do you want to go first, Anna?
Do you have something in mind? You
I
can go first
do.
if you like.
All right. Read me the questions one by one.
So the first one is, how has Solomon been traumatized by the harrowing events, and how has that changed them some weeks or months later?
He is sort of a recluse now. He doesn't go outside a lot anymore. And he's picked up some very unhealthy coping habits, such as barring all his windows and locking all his doors. He doesn't go hiking or camping anymore, which was one of his big activities. And he just seems way worse off than before he left. And the next question.
How has your relationship to and feelings about Emily changed?
He's really sad. So in his sort of perception of the situation, there was a moment where he could have been courageous and helpful, and he wasn't. Like he failed, and in his mind, as a consequence of that, she got heckin' stabbed, yo. So there's a lot of I think the word is contrition, apologies. The funeral for Steve is paid for by him. The hospital bills for both the ladies paid for, and it's like he's not brave enough to drive out to the hospital, but there are a lot of like unless he's told to stop, like messages and notices that are like, we're checking up on your care. He's making sure that everyone's okay, and he's deeply apologetic.
All right. So Emily, how have you been traumatized by the harrowing events, and how has that changed you some weeks or months later?
Yeah, a couple months later, her arm is still pretty stiff from the stab wound, from the depth of it, and then also having to continue using it to drive them. That was not good for the future healing of the wound. But she, coming into that retreat, she was caught up in a lot of guilt, survivor's guilt, and kind of wondering if it was it her fault, and all of that, and just really refusing to move on. And this event, I think, is propelling her forward. She realized she doesn't want to die. She still has so much she wants to do. She has already accepted a job offer in another state. She's getting ready to move. She sent a very nice handwritten thank you note to Solomon for paying for the care and for always checking in on her. But aside from that, really nothing else. She cuts contact. She doesn't want to talk to anybody who is there. She doesn't want to think about that. She just wants to move on. And I think, Solomon, that one of your notes eventually, or letters, or whatever you might send, eventually comes back like return to sender, essentially, because she's no longer there at that address. She's just gone.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you know, they I think the happiest ending there is if they sort of parted with, like you were saying, your positive growth out of it. That's what matters most.
And the second part of this epilogue is you escaped, but you didn't really defeat Dr. Summers. You didn't defeat the horror. So the players and the GM should each describe one very short scene that shows how the horror's still at large, and that in escaping without entirely defeating it, others are doomed to repeat that fate.
So I think the one that pops into my head right away is that I'm thinking it's 2 years down the line. Emily is in a completely different state, new life, has a new girlfriend, living life up. She goes down to collect the mail like she does every day, and she's sorting through it, bills, advertisements, and she comes across one addressed to her from Dr. Summers. Just a postcard. Doesn't have anything else written on it. Just Dr. Summers' name and the return address, and it's addressed to Emily and has her current address on it and everything. And it's a postcard for the area where that retreat was held.
Okay, I like it. What do you got, Solomon? You got one?
Solomon moved out of his house. This is also, several years in the future. Moved out of his house in the sort of burbs, or not the burbs, but the rural area. And he's moved into a city near the coast, up near like Maine, like New England area. And there's a montage of him making, progress in his rehabilitation, and at his darkest times, he's so deeply paranoid and agoraphobic that he just spends days locked in just his closet, because he can't trust anything outside. And finally, he, after weeks and weeks of psyching himself up, builds up enough courage to go out around about Christmas time and go to a restaurant, which is something he hasn't been able to do in years. And he gets there, and just as he's about to start eating his food, he's holding his coffee mug in his hand.
A figure in an orange parka walks past him, just kind of like down the aisle, and his hand just flexes and crushes the coffee cup in one motion, and he just begins to cry at the table.
Okay. The very last scene is like zooming in on a wanted poster. Just sort of a nondescript spot, but it's, a wanted poster for Dr. Summers, and the very last thing that happens is a gloved hand, orange jacketed arm, rip it off, and then cuts to credits. And now we are at the part with the book. This is, decompress a little bit.
Yeah, jeez.
Let's talk. How's everybody feeling? Y'all okay? Feeling good?
That was really intense.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
This is, for horror specifically, this is probably my favorite system. I think it's, I don't run it enough, and I feel like sometimes every time, the couple of times I have run it, I feel like I'll get better at pushing the dread and despair and stuff the more I run it. But the system itself is very well designed to make you feel the horror and the intensity of what's going on, which personally I kind of feel like some of the other horror systems don't quite get, because they lean on the wrong things. And I much prefer having an anxiety system to like
A sanity system.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this before
You have heard my long-winded rant about why sanity systems are very bad.
and anxiety I think works a lot better. The hope, the despair, it works pretty good. I personally like it, but I would like to hear both of your thoughts on it as well. How you felt
Yeah.
about it, how you felt about the game in general.
Yeah, system-wise, I really enjoy it. I'm a big fan of Blades in the Dark, and especially the flashback mechanic in that system. And I really like how it's translated here as the scars. It really adds a lot of atmosphere to it that you otherwise wouldn't get unless the characters sit down and talk about what happened to them, which isn't going to happen in a game like this. So it's a really great way to kind of address those tragedies and that backstory. And I thought it was fun. Overall, I enjoyed it. It was tense, which is exactly what I was looking for. And I mean, I agree. This is probably one of the best systems for horror, for all of the reasons you mentioned.
I was honestly kind of surprised how visceral a reaction the game kind of brought up, because you walk into a horror game and you kind of expect at some point some madcap will happen, or a comedy pratfall will occur because I tried to do something cool and I rolled really badly. So oops, banana cream pie. Oh no. So the sort of mechanical spiral towards despair is an interesting take. It kind of feels like the midpoint between like Gumshoe Esoterrorists, where it's like you have an opportunity to succeed but you're very likely to fail, and like Trophy Dark, where welcome to Trophy Dark, you've lost. Hope you enjoyed the character creation process, because that's as long as you're playing this game. It's like the Dwarf Fortress of tabletop games. So it's a good midpoint if I feel if Trophy Dark isn't your thing, but you don't want to sort of like delve too deeply into the intricate minutia of like the Gumshoe COC level horror role playing. There's going to be a lot of Endless Legend played tonight. I'll tell you that. Because that was way deeper than I expected it to be. and I'm gonna need to decompress. That
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
that is fair. I, as a fan of horror and as the GM, I and I for a long time I actually envisioned myself going to film school to direct horror movies. That's sort of what I wanted to do. My favorite thing to set up any horror movie or horror like thing is atmosphere. I think atmosphere is far more important than the killer or whatever the dread is. Winter's a great atmosphere for that. It's cold. That in general just kind of, you know, puts, you know, isolates things even more than being in a remote cabin. Like being in a remote cabin, like you're cut off already, and then now it's cold and you're kind of stuck inside, and there's ice on the road, and it's a great thing to do. And I don't want to say worked. I'd say I'm glad that it set the right intensity for both of you, and I hope you had a lot of fun. And I think it's time to sign out and let you go enjoy the rest of your nights. We will start again with Andrew. Once again, just tell people who you are, where you can find you, and all that stuff.
Yeah, my name's Andrew. Like I said, I do short fiction, tabletop role-playing games, and let's plays, and other like video stuff. You can find all that on Twitter and Mastodon at SiegeAndrew, on Facebook at facebook.com/s15studios, s-15studios.itch.io. That gets all of my tabletop games, and s-15studios.com, where all of my my other stuff like articles and short stories are. And you can find me currently Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Gonna get drop it down to just Fridays coming in December over at twitch.tv/onion_siege. I'm also gonna be trying to be on more lovely live play channels like this one in the year coming up. So keep an eye out on that. And thank you very much for running.
You're welcome. And Anna.
Yeah, so I'm Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny, most of the places on the internet. Queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer. So if any of that sounds interesting, you can find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun. I stream a lot. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, you can find me on Weed the Tale. Right now playing Alien Paradiso Lost, which is our sci-fi horror alien game. Things have gotten really tense. We've had our first facehugger sighting. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, come check it out. We only got a few episodes left. Tuesday nights, you can find me at 8 p.m. Eastern over on Black Feather Guild, playing Dragon Age. It's a 2-party campaign where different adventures set in the same world. I think we're going to come together at the end. I don't know. It's interesting though. On Sundays, you can find me either on Gona_Hawking's Twitch channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, playing Shifting Echoes, which is our D&D 5e campaign set in a world of 1930s technology. Really great cast of characters and players over there. It's definitely worth checking out. Or you can find me at Guild of the Phoenix at 8 p.m. Eastern, playing Cyberpunk Red. Playing a med tech, desperately trying to keep a party with a death wish alive. Seems to be how all med techs are in that game. But if podcasts are more your thing, you can find me in Response Team Omnicron, a Lancer actual play podcast set in the No Room for a Wallflower adventure setting, following a PR team that has found itself on the front lines unexpectedly. Part 1 and 2 of our premiere are up. The next episode, which will be part 1 of the next arc, will be up on Monday. If you love mechs or sci-fi military, or just people getting themselves into situations they do not understand, it is worth checking out. If you have listened to it so far, thank you so much. We have been completely floored by the number of people listening and by the support that we've gotten. And if you haven't, come see what all the buzz is about. But yeah, best place to see where and when I'm streaming is on Twitter, so give me a follow there. And again, thank you so much for having me on the channel. It was fun, and I hope I get to
Yes.
play some more in the future.
Yes, thank you for being on. And everyone, I am Nerdy Teddy. You can find me on Twitter at Nerdy Teddy. And yes, it is the best place to find out where I'm streaming. You can also find out more about the channel in general, and hang out and talk in the Nerds with Dice Discord. I'll be there as well. I'm going to actually remember for once to put the Discord link in the chat. And other than that, I am regularly here for the foreseeable future. On Tuesdays and Thursdays on Tuesdays I am in Rift's Ballad of Fates, where I play Nature Mage and Healer in probably the worst world possible to play a healer. Everything is trying to kill us. Everything. And let's see, Thursdays we just started a new game. It's I Hunt Farm to Table, so you can come watch us hunt monsters and try to survive late stage capitalism, which is basically the whole game. And we're also in the Midwest. It's fun. The first game happened yesterday, so you're not too far behind. So come check that out. Monday nights, I'm over on the Bardic Nox channel playing Yu-Gi-Oh! We are going through each sort of generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pack by pack, and we are just about to wrap up the GX era, and other than that, I have some stuff that I wrote you can check out via the link that is in the chat, or by finding me on Twitter. There's a link there as well, and you can pick up the work I'm most proud of, which is for Visigoths and Malgoths. It is it adds some NPCs called the Tax Sisters to your game. They are basically the Canker Sisters meet the Hex Girls. They should be a lot of fun and add a whole lot to your game. That is all for me. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. It was fun. I'm glad I know we had some delays, but I'm glad we finally got to do this. And I will see everyone next time. We're going to raid Devil's Luck Gaming. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.